Darien Fenton.
Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Labour. What specific initiatives, if any, can he point to and vote Labour in Budget 2014 that will help raise the wages of low-income and insecure New Zealand workers?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Labour, in Budget 2014 the focus was on the considered and positive changes to paid parental leave, which not only extend the paid leave period by 4 weeks by April 2016, but ensure that more parents will be eligible. This will include precisely those workers who miss out because they, for example, in the casual workforce, will have more than one employer. There's also planned increases in the length and amount of the parental tax credit for those who don't qualify currently for paid parental leave. More generally, in Budget 2014, the best way to raise the wages of low-income workers is to grow the economy and add jobs. We've added 84,000 jobs in the last year, and I'd point to the positive Budget 2014 forecasts of average wage growth by $7,600 by 2018 and around 170,000 new jobs in the next 4 years.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Darien Fenton.
To the Minister, why has he implemented miserly increases to the minimum wage each year, which barely cover inflation, when New Zealand faces a significant income disparity between rich and poor?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Labour, as I said in response to a previous question, the increase in the minimum wage this year to $14.25 was actually ahead of the cost of living, and actually most workers are receiving wage increases and increases in earnings each year at the moment which are higher than cost of living increases, which is exactly the reverse situation than prior to 2008, where cost of living increases were rampant and people's real wages were going up slow. In fact, were going down because the nominal wages were going up slower than inflation.
Supplementary question, Darien Fenton.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, how does he intend to tackle the fact that the top 10% in New Zealand are earning 8 times more than the bottom 10% when he refuses to address wages at the bottom end through a significant minimum wage increase or a living wage?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Labour, we do and have been increasing the minimum wage at a rate faster than inflation, but you do have to be careful because of the risk to job growth. For example, if you immediately raise the minimum wage to $15, which I understand is some people's policies, then there would be at least 5,000 jobs gone overnight. And this is according to independent analysis by the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. And if you actually followed the Supporting the Living Wage campaign, then you would place around 26,000 jobs at risk. Now, I know the member thinks that you can just arbitrarily increase everybody's wages and nothing else happens, but that's the sort of attitude that led to the economy falling off a cliff in 2008 before the global financial crisis.
Supplementary question, Darien Fenton.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, which of his government's policies does he think contributed the most to the increase in the average CEO pay compared to the average worker from 22.5 times in 2011 to 26.54 times in the most recent survey?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Labour, actually, CEO wages have been significantly higher than the average wages for as long as I can remember, and also for as long as the previous government was in office. And actually, what you do have to focus on is lifting job opportunities for Kiwis, so that increases competition for their labour, and that's what's happening. We've seen the biggest job growth in the last decade, in the last 12 months, 84,000 more people employed and average weekly wages going up 3.2%, which is significantly faster than inflation of 1.5%. And if we continue on the steady economic growth path that this government has us on, then you will continue to see further improvements in the years ahead.
That concludes questions for oral answer. Would some honourable member care to move that the House takes note of miscellaneous business?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, emerging out of the fog